Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing out there? It's Mike Melton back in this Soberheadz podcast, one day at a time, episode 19. I got a very, very special guest tonight, man. I know your brother for years, man. I got my good brother Marvin B in the house tonight, man. How you doing, Marv?
I'm blessed, bro. How you doing, Mike? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to come on and share your experience, strength, and hope with the audience, man. It's very important that we try to help out people that's still out there that might be struggling and stuff like that, man, and especially people that look like us, man, because we need it in our community bad for people to understand that you can get help, man. So thanks for coming on, brother.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me. I'm. It's a blessing to be a blessing. You know.
Indeed, man. So let's take it from the beginning, brother, man. I saw your post that you had just celebrated. What you had 2 years?
Right. Yeah, it was 2 years in March. Right now, it's obviously a few more months.
All praises, brother. All
Yeah.
praise. 2 years sober, free from alcohol, man. Take us back to the beginning. Like, when and why did you first pick up a drink?
Man, I remember, long time ago. I'm talking about when I wasn't even 10 years old. I was playing. We were outside playing with, in the projects, few garden projects in Durham, North Carolina, and a buddy of mine lived in a building right across from me. He was, my age, and we went into his house to get something to drink, like some water.
Mm-hmm.
And his daddy had a 32-ounce Budweiser, ice cold in the refrigerator. So, I got a couple, open the fridge, to get some water or Kool-Aid, whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna drink some of this beer. His name was Chico. Chico had a beer. And we drank that beer, man. And I just remember it being, I don't know, man. It was like from that day on, obviously I didn't start drinking every day then, but I just remember like craving alcohol. It was just like in the back of my mind. And I remember one day the 49ers played the Cowboys back in the day, Montana, Dwight Clark, and all of them.
And that was my squad.
Yeah, my dad gave me a little Miller. It was like a little Miller High Life, the small beers back then. And he gave me one. He was like, "Yeah, man, men sit down and drink a beer when they watch the game." And I remember drinking that beer. At this time I'm about 12, 11 or 12, something like that. And after that, when I got of age, which was 16, 17, it was like a regular thing. I kind of managed it with sports and everything. I was busy, so I just wasn't drinking all the time. But I was very familiar with drinking. So that's the first time back then, to answer your question.
Indeed. When did you notice a progression with it?
In college.
Me too. I'll let you tell yours first.
Yeah, college. I was an athlete, and that's when I started smoking weed, and that's when I started drinking. Like, found myself going to the store regularly, like literally going to the store to get beer, like every day. And I'm supposed to be an elite athlete, so that's when it started in college.
I remember I took my first drink in college, and I was immediately hooked. I was going through anxiety and all of that stuff at St. Peter's, and then when I transferred to Keene, I drink that Mountain Valley too, brother. I transferred to Keene, and then it just went to another level. And I should have known I had a problem. I remember going into my first discount liquor store, Bagley Liquors, and I walked in, and Marv, it was like I was super happy that I found this store that had all these big bottles for so cheap. I was walking down the aisle like I was in Toys R Us, just throwing stuff in the thing. I should have known then that I had a problem, man. You know what I mean?
But you know, in college, you know, it's kind of like it's hard to say it's a problem because it is sometimes it can be a phase. And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the problem is when you don't grow out of that phase. You know,
yeah.
I went to a HBCU, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and right across the street from the school, I mean directly across the street, they had buy one get one free 40 ounces of OE.
What? Oh, they
Yeah.
was trying to get y'all, bro.
So it was like
That's crazy.
I remember me and my teammates walking to the store and coming back with boxes of 40s, like literally cardboard boxes, just walking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Billy Blunts and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I think the difference was that's where I came from. I came from drugs and alcohol and that hard life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had nothing to transition to. A lot of my teammates came from regular situations, so it was a phase for them. You
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it was like they knew something to go back to. Like they behaved like their parents and their families behaved. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
were professional people, but I didn't have that support or I didn't have that template to follow. So it was hard for me to break that cycle.
Yeah, with me it was like what you said, what you touched on a little bit earlier when you was like you grow out of that phase. I never grew out of it. So it was like I remember looking at this video with Chuck D said once they changed hip hop to gangster rap and to the rap like with Bad Boy and all of them kind of dudes, he said it was designed to keep the black man a teenager until he's 45 years old, a
That's
teenage mindset.
yeah,
And
that's crazy.
yeah, and that was me. Like, and they say once you get addicted to a substance, mentally you stay at that level you was at when you first got addicted to it. And that was me.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. So I was still trapped in the college mindset, even though I was an adult. I wanted to party and go to clubs and dress like I was still young and do all of this stuff because now I'm getting business done, but interpersonally and making some crucial decisions in terms about life and stuff like that. I never wanted to really be responsible. So it was like a big party for me. You know what I mean? I can remember being in rehab and my counselor was like, he was just reading everybody the riot act that day. And when he came to me, he said, and you, every day ain't no damn party. And I was laughing, but he was telling the truth. I thought as long as you made money, you could just party as much as you want and do whatever you want. And that was because I was still in that teenage mind, that mindset I was in college, like my early 20s, late teens, early 20 mindset. You know what I mean? And I could admit that was the case.
I can 100% relate to that. And you know, when you deal with alcohol like I have, I,
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of research and I still do. And you know, basically, I just wanted to learn what this thing was doing to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
basically our brains learn to work with alcohol,
All
and
facts.
it gives us all of these hormones and all of these artificial feelings of security and courage. You know, and then when you don't have it, your brain doesn't know how to function normally, and it takes a while for us to heal. Thank God for healing, you know,
All
because
praise.
eventually we heal. But
Mm-hmm.
that process is so tough that it's very few that stay on that road to healing, you know, because life doesn't stop just because you're healing. You know what I mean?
100%,
A lot
100%.
of people don't know how to cope and deal with life situations.
On life terms.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it. So it's just like you got to go back to the safe place, which is drinking and whatever addiction you have.
At what point did you say to yourself, yeah, this is a problem?
I used to, the tricky part for me was, you know, I only, I never really got drunk, you know, like
Mm.
I was extremely functional. Like, um, I only drank Bud Light,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, when I was young in my 20s, I fooled around with Long Islands and all that crap. But for my 30s, 40s, you know, my most of my adult life, I drank Bud Light. And I didn't get like some, you know, I would get a little tipsy sometimes when I'm out and about having fun, but for the most part, I just drank it to feel normal. It had got to the point
Mm.
drinking it just to feel normal. And
Oh.
the problem was I didn't get drunk, but I drank so much of it. And I would go taking my kids to school, you know, Marvin and Marcus, when they were in middle, I mean not middle school, but you know, like elementary. And
Mm-hmm.
I would stop at the store, bro. Like I
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even wait until I got them to school.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stopping getting two tall Bud Lights just to that's breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
know, even though I was drinking a lot, I always took pride in having like a connection, you know, like a spiritual connection.
Mm-hmm.
And
I used to see your posts. I used to see a
yeah,
lot of your posts.
and I just felt like, you know, God gave me the ability and the conviction to do some tough reflection on myself, and
Mm.
a lot of my drinking was stress related, job related, finance related, and
Mm-hmm.
you know it was just a way to cope. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, God blessed us and put us in a situation where we didn't have a lot of those stresses anymore. So I was able to take a step back and try to better myself. And I just knew I didn't want my kids. I knew my kids were watching me, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want them to think the way I was handling life was the way you had to. You know,
Mm.
just like I touched on earlier, where my teammates in college, they had lives that didn't revolve around addiction. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that they could reflect on and they could go to and they could see. And I just felt the conviction like my kids deserve to see me at my best, because obviously, like, you know, comes with alcoholism, uh you know, it's a lot of procrastination, there's a lot of, you know, just a lot of plans that never get action put to them.
You talking it right now, brother.
you, you
Yeah,
just
you talking it right now.
But when you drinking, you're not aware of the weeks, months, and years that are passing without action. You,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, it's 5 years later or 10 years later, and you done missed out on so many opportunities. So you know, I just, to answer your question, I realized, well, enough is enough when, you know, I just saw my kids growing up. And one thing about me, I'll do anything for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And I felt like they deserve to have a sober father. They
Oh,
deserve,
praises.
they deserve to see me at my best.
Oh, praises,
And
brother.
they deserve that. Even though they were adults, and you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm gonna show you now, this is how you do the adult thing. You know,
Mm.
we already got past the middle school, high school, even college. Now let's do this adult thing. And you know, I went back to college, and you
I'm
know,
proud of you, brother.
yeah, we opening a school, by the way, in Phoenix. Valley Prep basketball school, and you know, my wife and I opened the building, bought the building, opened up the school, and we'll be in business this fall. But
Cool. Yeah.
my kids are getting to see all of these things, and they're getting to see me do it without that crutch, that lifelong crutch they always saw me leaning on.
When your son had his success, Marvin III, and especially once he got drafted, had to deal with Puma and things of that nature. Of course, your lives changed. Did that make it worse? Having access to so much?
Yeah, it was dangerous, and like I
Yeah.
said, I pray for wisdom all the time, and you know, tells me if I pray for wisdom, if you pray for wisdom, you get wisdom. God will give you wisdom. So I just had a instinct and a feeling that, you know, it was gonna go way left, because I don't have to work 40 hours. A lot of times a job save addicts.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me. Once I retired, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go, and then I'll tell you what happened. Go ahead.
Yeah, a job has saved you. Like, you got to go to work, and it's almost like a relief. I didn't have to do that, so I had access, 24-hour access to whatever I wanted to do, and that's when you got to somebody praying for you, and that's when you got to have some real serious conversations with yourself and say, you know, what am I gonna make of this? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm glad the good Lord gave me strength, and just to know that it was a dark place. I was in a dark place, and it was only getting darker.
First thing I'm touch on is when you talked about the job saving you, man. I remember I was drinking when I got out of rehab, and oh man, he went out. Hopefully he come back on. We was having a good conversation. Hopefully his thing come back on. I give him a couple minutes.
Yo.
Oh, there you go. You there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. One thing you touched on about the job saving you, man. I can remember I got out of rehab the second time, and then I found out that got out of rehab the first time, and I started drinking because I didn't take it serious and none of that kind of stuff. I thought I was only in there because my wife got murdered and I found her and I was the suspect. So I was like, I'm only here because what happened with my wife. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I remember drinking and drinking. Then I found out once they arrested the guys that did it, I found out we had to go to trial. And I got scared because I didn't know from what they was going to dig up from my past. I know the guys that did it, their lawyers had to make it look like I did it, and they was going to try to make me look bad. I knew I had to testify. I got scared. So I started drinking again. Then my job told me that basically they didn't really want me to come back, and I should get a lawyer. The union person told me to get a lawyer because they thought I went through too much mentally once I found my wife, because we worked at the same job. Long story short, they sent me to get evaluated. It came back that I have PTSD, so they was like, you could retire. And Marv, you hit it on the head. I remember once I got the information saying that I could retire, I was walking down the hallway and I said, you about to go under. Because I couldn't wait to get home to drink.
Right.
Now you're going to send me a check every month and I don't got to go nowhere. And I had basketball spotlight rolling.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
then I started out like a gentleman. I started drinking at 2, then 2 went to 12, then 12 went to 10. Now I'm at the liquor store 9 o'clock in the morning, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like you said, it was like every day. It was days where I forgot what the day of the week was because every day was like Friday because I ain't have to go nowhere.
Hey, that's crazy. I know exactly what you mean.
Every day was like Friday. They'd be like, what's today? I'll be like, I don't know.
The
party never The party never stopped. The party never stopped, man. And another thing too, I think I got sober around 2019 was when I got sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started going on a drink and I saw you, brother. and I saw the behaviors changing. I saw you, and I remember who you was when I was doing the tournaments and stuff, and y'all came down.
Right.
And I actually saw the shift. I saw the shift. I saw the shift in some of your posts. I saw the shift. And I didn't know what was going on. I just thought it was the moment of like the NBA thing and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know at the time that you was actually struggling. And I wish I would have known, because I would have reached out. But it's kind of a touchy thing when you're trying to reach out and be in people's business. But I did see the change. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
And how did everything affect your family and friends and people close to you when you was going through that, or did you even notice it?
Well, my family supported me. Like, if you ever seen me, our kids, we was always together, you know, and no trip where you saw, you know what I mean? We was just that tight. We still are, you know, it's just a little more virtual now. But they supported me, or still do. And you know, my kids tell me they proud of me, and you know, it sounds weird coming from the kids, but it means but they are the reason.
Oh,
You
praise.
know, obviously I deserve it, and I'm pretty sure, you know, like I could have kept that behavior for even to now, because you know I wasn't sick. I'm not sick. I didn't get like a doctor say, hey, you got to stop drinking. You know, I just knew that, for one, I knew God this ain't what God wants. And somebody told me, I don't know if I read it or saw it, it was like a drunk ain't getting into heaven.
Yeah, that's in the Bible.
Yeah,
Drunkards.
the
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a wake-up call. Like, man, am I drunk? Yo, I'm like, and I really had to stop telling myself, yo, it's just Bud Light. You know, it's just beer, you know, and I'm drinking 25, 30 beers a day. Like, easy. So to answer your question, you know, my family supported me. You know what I mean? Because there were times, and you probably know this, that, you know, I was like, yo, I'm going to the store. Like, I'm like, yo, this is whack. I'm going to the store. And, you know, well, you tripping. Like, just relax, you know, this and that. I done went like 6-7 months in. I done went to the store and bought beer before. Like, I'm about to get to my comfort place. You know what I mean? You feeling all of these different pressures and everything, and I know a couple of brews take that away. You know, my family been very supportive, man. They really, really, really helped me through it, and I'm just blessed to have that type of support system.
That's a blessing, brother. That's definitely a blessing. Now, at one point when you said to yourself, we all had that moment, like, this is the time right now. I got to go get some help.
Well, I don't know where I was at. I think we went to Vegas. And I did it up in Vegas, right? And I just remember like feeling like this ain't right. You know what I mean? I always wanted to, like, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to open a school, and it was just so accessible. And I was like, this is too easy. And I went, my Bud Light went from Bud Light to, like, I was drinking alcohol in Vegas. And all that stuff, Fat Tuesdays and all this crap. So I just remember being drunk in Vegas. That, like, first time in a long time I really felt, and you know, that excuse, oh, this Vegas, this and that. But I just remember saying, I'm ready. I was just tired. You know, I was just tired of waking up feeling crazy. You know, that drunk wake up, you just be like,
I know what
damn,
you're talking about.
what happened last night? Man, I got a headache. What time is it? I don't feel like getting up, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, I'm done with this, man. This is not me. This isn't the end of my story. And the longer I would have let it go on, the deeper and darker it would have been, because it was so easily accessible.
That's what I was gonna get into. I understand that, man. And of course, I ain't have nowhere near the means that y'all had going on, but I can only imagine because it was accessible for me. You know what I mean? I'm leaving a tournament with crazy stacks of money and on me, and I could go get the at the end. I was drinking the boxes of rock, the little shooters, because I knew like a whole box equal a fifth, but it was like $15 cheaper. But I'm drinking one of them a day, right? You get what I'm saying? But they only cost $20. And at the time, I'm walking around with like $3,000 to $4,000. I was retarded walking around with $3,000 or $4,000 cash in my pocket, like most regularly. And so a whole fifth only cost $20. So I'm just driving, drinking like it's like I'm drinking Sprite.
Yeah, you felt like you was beating the system, kind of.
Yeah. It was just like you said, it was accessible. But one of the times I knew I had an issue, we used to go to this place in by Trent and Ewing, this bar called HK, and I used to be in there with my friends, and it's real cheap. It's like $2 for a beer, $3 for a shot or whatever, like any kind you want all day long. No, this not no happy hours, it's just all day. Mm-hmm. And they was drinking singles or maybe a double, maybe. I'm drinking quadruples, but I'm getting done faster than them. And I'm looking at them, and then you said something else earlier that was key. When you said, when you don't feel normal without it. And that's when I knew I had an issue too. When I didn't have it in me, I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? That's when I knew, you know what I mean? So once you figured out, like, I got to do something about this, what was your process of getting better? What did you do?
Cold turkey. And you know what was, you know, I always had like high expectations of myself from everything. I think that's part of the reason why I made it from where I made it from. And and one thing about getting drunk and getting high, it's easy. It's easy to do that. It's easy. That's like the easy way. You know, people can make it look really cool, but you know, getting drunk and getting high, it's like anybody can do that, right? But sober living and dealing with life and coping, it's really tough. Especially, it's tough if you've never been an addict, right? But if you've been addicted to alcohol or drugs or anything, it's super tough at first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and once you get over that hump, when you can look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm okay, right? Then you have to make that decision I gotta decide every day, bro.
I know.
I gotta decide every day. I'm not gonna drink today. That shit don't never stop. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, you good, brother. You good. Express yourself. You good.
It don't never stop. It's like every day. Like one of my favorite things used to be going through the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing them little restaurants got their Bud Light.
You ain't gotta tell me.
I'd be like, oh, that's man. And every time I turn around, I'm on a plane. So it's like, man, you know, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going back and forth myself. How can I get to the point where I could drink a damn beer? And I got to decide every day not to. You know what I mean?
That's why what helps me out is I go to meetings daily, bro. And I go because when I'm in there, I get to tell my story. I get to share what I'm going through, but I get to hear other people that's going through it. And especially I get to hear about the person that got 40 years and he gonna give me some experience on stuff that didn't happen to me yet. You get what I'm saying? Then I get to hear the newcomer that just came in. that got 2 days, 3 days, 10 days. He gonna remind me of what's gonna happen to me if I pick up this drink.
Right.
So I'm constantly in there every day. The same way that I used to go to the liquor store, I make sure that I go to a meeting. It's an hour a day. I go in there and I'm listening to these stories, and it constantly reminds me of what happened, because I have a built-in forgetter. I might get, if I wasn't doing meetings, I might get to 10 years and be like, man, I got 10 years in. Like, one ain't gonna hurt me, because I haven't heard because I forgot about the pain that brought me into recovery. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because so that's why I go every day, bro. I got an app. It's called Meeting Guide app. No matter where I'm at in the country, it's a picture of a blue chair. No matter where I'm at in the country, I hit that app, and it's gonna tell me where's the meeting at and what time it start, and it's gonna give me directions from wherever I'm at. That's anywhere in the world. So now, before, when I used to go out for basketball and I used to go check in hotels, the first thing I used to do was figure out where the liquor store at. I asked the people downstairs. Now, as soon as I get to the hotel, I hit that app, and the app is gonna tell me where the AA meeting's at, what time it start, what street is on, and it's gonna give me the directions to go directly there. And I just make sure I do at least one a day. Go in there, you get what I'm saying? Go to a speaker meeting, go to a big book meeting, any kind of meeting, and most importantly, I just get through today. I don't think about tomorrow. I don't think about next week. All I gotta do is make it sober, go to sleep tonight. When tomorrow's gonna come, when tomorrow come. When I wake up tomorrow, I worry about tomorrow. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But me going to that meeting every day, and me going to the meeting, and me just getting through the day. And also, I did the 12 steps, and it dealt with the trauma of why I was drinking in the first place. Because I know the alcohol for me was just a substance. I had to get to the underneath thing of why when I started drinking, it helped me escape. But why did I really want to keep doing it? What was I really escaping from? What really happened that made me get to that point? And the 12 steps helped me deal with that trauma that I don't gotta deal with no more. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's them meetings helped me, bro. A lot of times I was going through different situations and going there. Go ahead.
Amen. I said, amen.
Yeah, them joints helped me, bro. And the only thing is, like, a lot of them, you might only see like one of us in there, maybe like two, because we don't really go for like alcohol. We might go for drugs like NA, but we don't really go for alcohol. But I don't care. I just be in there zoned in, bro. Any state I land in now, I go to meetings, bro. I don't care where it's at. I'm definitely gonna hit me at meeting because it helps keeps me going. You know what I mean? So once you got in early sobriety, how long did it take you to get comfortable? Like, all right, I'm cool.
Man, I drank every day for almost 30 years, right? So since I was a teenager, and I turned 50 in a couple months, but that's a long time for. Are you going to the game? All right, let me know when you leave. But that's a long time for my brain to be dependent on something. You know what I mean? So the longer you drink, the longer your healing, your physical brain healing.
Yeah.
So it took me a year, almost 2 years before I felt like I might be healing. You know what I'm saying? So even I don't have a lot of the stuff that I had before, because like, you know, I was like, damn, is this shit gonna ever end? Like,
It's called pause. It's called pause. Yeah, post-acute withdrawal syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could tell you studied it. I could tell you studied
They don't even know it exists.
I know.
A lot of people don't even know pause is a thing. Like,
I know.
They don't even know.
My mood was going like this. My mood was going up and down. like wake up one day happy, wake up the next day like, man, I'm tired of this, man. Like
Yeah.
like being super irritable. My wife now, she say something to me, I'll be like, what? Like I'm just super irritable, and then the next it'll go from day to day, then it'll go hour to hour, then it'll go down to minute, just my mood, because my brain had to heal.
Then you can go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month,
Mm-hmm.
feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Then that shit pop back up like 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 right now.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
I got faith that I'm done with that shit. But if like sometimes you be like, you don't know if it's gonna come back or not. That's why I stay active.
Mm-hmm.
The more active I stay, the better I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what
So
I'm saying?
I'm gonna speed up a couple of questions because I know you got to get ready to go. Now let's get into, now we in sobriety now. How did that change your relationship with the people around you, your family and your friends? Like how did that improve the relationship with them?
Oh man. Well, alcohol for me, alcohol allowed me to tolerate a lot of foolishness. Like
You ain't lying, bro.
when you're dealing with people, I deal and just tolerate some unacceptable things. You drink alcohol and you just be like, yo, it's cool. I'm good. I'm good. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why we felt irritable without it, because we don't have that I'm good feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So alcohol really allowed me to tolerate foolishness. But when I sober, sobriety is about truth. Like
Yes, it is, brother.
you got to deal with the truth. It ain't no
Mm-hmm.
more foolishness. It's about truth and sincerity. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like it gets to the bottom of everything.
Yes, it does.
If you're gonna be successfully sober, you're gonna deal with some truth. And it's no crutch. You don't have that alcohol to give you that false sense of okay, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to survive your truth. When
Mm.
when you're in that with me, when I'm in that phase of truth, or anybody trying to be sober, when you're just having that moment where everything has to be sincere around you.
You
You know
talking,
what
bro?
and everybody won't survive that. I'm talking about nobody is exempt from being removed, from disrupting your peace.
You
I'm
talking it, bro?
parents, spouses,
Mm-hmm.
kids. You know, obviously
Mm-hmm.
we have more tolerance for our children. You know, certain people, spouses, and things. But if people come with disruption, you know, you're gonna learn real fast. If you're gonna stay sober, you're gonna have to distance them. So
Indeed.
so that's how it changed. That's how it changed my relationships. You know, a lot of people not having my truth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
used to be able to deal with a lot of friends and a lot of people. I mean, people that I sincerely love, people I drank with. We started drinking together, but my truth is that's not good for me.
Well,
And,
indeed, brother.
you know, it's not good for my family. It's not just. It's God don't like it. He don't look at me pleased when I'm drinking 30 beers a day. So I have to separate myself from anything related to that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Anything related to that, because, you know, not that I'm weak or I feel like I'm gonna do it, but it's almost like I have to be careful, because it's easy to get into a judgmental mindset when you see somebody doing something that you did for so long. I can be like,
Yeah,
man, that is
yeah. I
so
was gonna ask you about that. Yeah,
that,
it's. I remember when I first got sober, I wanted everybody to be sober that I thought had a problem. You know what I
right.
mean? And then I started reading the book, and it took me about a year to really understand it. Like, because I'll be reading the AA book, and it got a chapter talking about going to help others. and it's a way that you're supposed to do it. Like, so I'm supposed to go up to that person. If somebody referred me to them to say that they got a problem, I don't just go up to them and be like, yo, I heard you got a problem. Listen, I tell them my story, and if they can relate, then they can relate. You get what I'm saying? That type of thing. But it took me a while to get to understand that. And to the other point you said, it's weird that when people call me crazy and weird and strange now, but I wasn't crazy, strange, and weird when I was a drunken fool. You get what I'm saying? Like now,
Right.
it's like people would have rather me stayed in that state. You get what I'm saying? Because like you said, like I was that kind of alcoholic too. I'm gonna pay for everybody dinner. I'm gonna buy everybody drinks. I'm gonna make sure everybody's having a good time. But now I got my sense with me. Now I understand what's going on around me, and I'm like, nah, I ain't that person. Now, if I loan you some money, I'm gonna ask for it back. When before
Right.
I just used to be like feeling all scared to ask for the money and this and that. Like you said, letting stuff slide. You know what I mean? But a lot of people can't handle that change, and a lot of people can't handle once that spirit of God come into you, and then you start to really change, and you start to really get to see who they are. You know what I mean? And now you like, whoa. So that's what sobriety, which brings me to my next question with you. How has sobriety helped your relationship with God?
I think faith, you know, because there's a lot of unknown. When you decide to get sober, there's a lot of unknown that comes with it. You know, I was the first ever to try to be sober after a hard addiction, but it's the first time for you. You like you said, you go to the meetings, you see somebody that's been there, and it helps you know what's coming. You know, but you know, being sober is strengthened my faith, because you know, you just got to know that if God is on your team, like, easy way to put it, everything is going to be okay no matter what. And when you accept that, it's a whole lot easier. You first start to try and be sober, even when you're drinking, you try to figure out things and do things on your own. And sobriety after almost 30 years of drinking forces you to put faith in God. You know, it forces you. I don't go to meetings. I didn't go to a rehab. Not saying, obviously it's a blessing for those who have, but it's almost like I needed it now. I didn't have time to set it up to go to. I needed that deliverance.
I feel you on that one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you said.
When your mind is made up, your mind is made up. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think being sober is just, I don't rely on alcohol to feel good. I just got to know, like, when you're dealing with pause, when you're dealing with anxiety, or your head feels tight, like it's about to shit wrapped around your head. It's just like, you just got to know I'm healing. Like, God, I'm, cause it's easy to say, you know what, I'm just gonna drink something. This is too hard right now, or you know, it's that's and in no doubt, probably you feel better, but it takes some serious faith to just know everything is gonna be okay.
In closing, first thing I want to say is, speaking of faith, you had one of the most spiritual pictures I ever seen in my life, bro. That joint when your son was in the water with his hands up like that.
That was 8th grade.
Bro, I saw that picture, bro.
He had a cast on his arm.
Yeah. It was because he was in the water, and you could see the sky, and you could just see, like, that was a super spiritual picture, bro.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, but that was one of my favorite pictures I ever seen, bro. That was a beautiful picture, man.
But you know, he had a cast on his arm because right before nationals, we were in the gym and he fell and broke his wrist.
I remember that. I remember that.
And that was a dark place for him. Just like my youngest son yesterday twisted his ankle, 8th grade, right? And he, just like Marvin, when he took that picture, he was in a dark place because he's not an adult like we are, and he can't see this is only 8th grade. You know, it's gonna be okay. So he was a little bit down, and it was tough, but you know, we went to the beach, and it was just a moment, and he just caught the moment with the camera. So
you gotta send me that joint. You gotta send me that joint.
But yeah, I remember he had a line, like a lime green cast.
Yeah, I remember he had his hands up like that. I remember that, brother.
Yeah, that was
final question. You face to face with somebody that you know is struggling with alcoholism, and you have a chance to talk to him. What would you tell him?
You could do it one day at a time. Like, it sounds like a cliche, but don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow is too heavy. Don't carry tomorrow.
I like that. Tomorrow is too heavy. Don't carry tomorrow.
Don't tomorrow. Sometimes don't even carry this evening. Carry now. Like,
now.
Carry now. And you could do it. And one thing I know for a fact, if you sincerely go to God with any desired request, you know, I sincerely believe He'll lead and guide you to where you need to be, not where you want to be, where you need to be. So,
brother man, I know you got to go to the game. I hope they do well tonight. If he plays, I know you said his ankle was hurt. Tell your son I got to get them on here too. Your older sons, man, tell them I want them to come on, because I got a basketball joint too. I want to thank you for coming on, Marv, man, and being sharing your story with the world, brother. I'm gonna send you the YouTube version of this, and also I'll be putting some clips of it up on social media and stuff. I'm gonna send the interview to my app tonight, and I get the clips in like 45 minutes. You know what I mean? And then I put some clips up and go like that. I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your story, brother.
No problem at all. Mike, thanks for having me, man. And it's always a pleasure.
All right, man. Good seeing you, brother.
All right. Take care, bro.
All right.
All right.
Wow, man. Marvin Bagley Jr., man, the father of the NBA player, Marvin Bagley, came on and shared his story with us, man. And what a great story, man. And I'm going to be praying for the brother, man, and reaching out to him, staying in touch with him. Next week, I'm probably not going to do any broadcasts. I got to see how the Wi-Fi work with the places I'm going to stay. If I don't really like what's going on with the Wi-Fi, then I'm probably not going to do it. But I'll let you guys know. This is Mike. Enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom.